Probably the most single successful pivot I've been deeply involved in was a company I was an investor and board member of, and was also, since it couldn't afford one, I was also the CMO. The founder of this company went out and was doing some customer discovery. It was basically a fairly standard small systems integration boutique with a specialty in financial services. And they went out and they had a conversation with the president of the New Haven Bank for Savings, a 3-branch little bank in New Haven, Connecticut, where home of Yale. And the vice president of the bank said, here's what I want to talk to you about. We have a terrible problem with our network and device security. And I understand you can buy all this stuff on a subscription and pay for it by the month. And what I want to do is pay you a monthly fee for handling all of my security. So I have no CSO, I really have no CIO who's knowledgeable. I want this all run for me, and I have no sort of development money. I want to pay for it as I go. And the CEO started to talk about how many hours it would take to build the plan and to integrate the tools and so forth. And the bank vice president took a letter out of his drawer and said, see this letter? I wasn't going to show this to you, but I will now. 3,000 banks just got a letter like this from the federal bank authorities saying, if you don't fix your network security in the next 6 months, we're going to remove your deposit insurance, which basically means we're going to close your bank. So there are 3,000 customers for this service. And the president of the startup, who makes me look petite, stood up, said, we'll do it. He saw the opportunity. It turned out the opportunity was even larger than that. And we basically threw away all the marketing we were doing up to that point, threw it in the garbage, repositioned the company, rebuilt it around network security for small banks, right? We knew, Citibank, JP Morgan were not our customer. Our customer were the small banks without a CIO and so forth. There are 9,000 of them in the United States. Today, that company has a market cap in the hundreds of millions, has over 2,600 of those banks as customers. That's probably the most dramatic one. In my personal startup experience, twice I shut down companies because I didn't have the courage to write another round of, they were self-funded. Am I going to really write another $100,000 check to see if I can pivot this? No, was the answer. It's a little easier to do sometimes with someone else's money or in a different market. So anyway, it is a scary thing. And what you need when you make a dramatic pivot, you need your entire brain trust around the table. And you, the founder, spend an hour making, here are the reasons I believe we should pivot. Here are the dangers in pivoting. And you basically you solicit all the opinions. At the end of the day, you, the founder, have to make the decision. You have to make it on imperfect data because you don't have all the answers that, General Electric has to the details of its business or whatever. And when you make a pivot, it can be disruptive to your pipeline, to your existing customers, to your employees. So you want to do it based on confidence and sort of solid, thorough discussion. It's not something you do. Pivots have become, sadly, so trendy that people count them and they treat them like badges of honor. You may have to make quite a few pivots to actually build a successful business. My other remarkable pivoting experience was one where we pivoted a e-marketing company 5 or 6 times. And because the CEO had so many friends in the advertising business, she could get appointments with all these wonderful prospective clients, and they all loved her, so nobody would ever say no to her. But nobody would give her an order either. We pivoted and pivoted. We were basically ran out of money and shut the thing down. So it's don't do it because it's cool and trendy. Do it because you don't see customers enthusiastically grabbing your product out of your arms or telling you they're going to do so, and do it after some considerable thought.